26th of September, 1983, the world almost ended. Not with a war, not with a declaration, not with armies crossing borders, with one man sitting alone in a dark room, staring at a screen. And nobody told you. His name was Stanislav Petrov. He was 44 years old. He was not a general. He was not a president. He was not a hero in any uniform that history recognizes. He was a duty officer, doing a night shift. And in 23 minutes, he made the decision that kept every single person on this planet alive. This is his story, and it is darker than you think. To understand what Petrov faced that night, you need to understand the world he was living in. It was 1983, and the Cold War was not cold. It was a controlled burn, quiet on the surface, catastrophic underneath. 3 weeks before that September night, the Soviet military shot down a Korean passenger aircraft, Korean Airlines Flight 007, 269 civilians, dead, including a United States congressman. President Reagan stood before cameras and called the Soviet Union an evil empire, not a rival, not a competitor, an empire of evil. Those words were heard in Moscow. At the same time, Reagan announced the Strategic Defense Initiative, a space-based weapons shield that the Soviets knew would make their entire nuclear arsenal useless, obsolete, pointless. Years of weapons, billions of rubles, gone. And here is what no one tells you about that moment in history. Both sides genuinely believed the other was about to strike first, not as a theory, not as a political talking point, as a real, operational belief that shaped every decision made in every military bunker on both sides of the planet. The Soviets had an intelligence operation called RYAN, Raketno-Yadrnoye Napadenie, nuclear missile attack. Its entire purpose was to detect the moment America decided to launch. Soviet officers were trained to look for signs, increased activity at military bases, unusual communication patterns. Any deviation from normal reported immediately. They were primed, ready, waiting. And on the night of September 26th, they got the signal they had been dreading. The time was 0:14. Stanislav Petrov was sitting at his post inside Serpukhov 15, a classified Soviet nuclear early warning facility buried in the forest south of Moscow. Around him, screens, monitors, officers. The quiet hum of machines designed for one purpose: to tell the Soviet Union when America fired. At 0:14, the machine spoke. One missile, inbound, from the United States, heading for Soviet territory. The alarm did not whisper. It screamed. Red lights, sirens. Every screen in the room shifting from standby to alert in a single second. Protocol was absolute. You report. You do not question, you do not hesitate. You pick up the phone to the duty general, you state what the system is showing, and the machinery of Soviet nuclear response begins to move. Petrov did not pick up the phone. He stared at the screen. Because something was wrong. He could not explain it. He could not prove it. But something felt wrong. One missile. Why one? An American first strike would not be one missile. It would be hundreds. It would be everything. Every silo emptied simultaneously. A first strike is designed to destroy the enemy's ability to respond, and that requires overwhelming force from the very first second. One missile made no military sense. But before that thought could settle, the screen changed. 2 missiles, then 3, then 4, then 5. 5 confirmed launches, 5 inbound warheads. The system was now showing a full strike. The room did not stay quiet. It erupted. 50 men looking at one man, waiting. Every second he waited was a second the Soviet missiles sat in their silos, vulnerable, waiting to be destroyed by the incoming warheads. Every second he delayed was potentially a second too late. The protocol was designed for exactly this situation. Report, launch, survive. Petrov held the phone, and he did not call. For 23 minutes, Stanislav Petrov sat with that decision. Think about what that feels like. You're not sure. You can't be sure. The most advanced early warning system your country has ever built is telling you 5 nuclear weapons are on their way. Your training says, report it. Your commanding officers are watching you. The clock is moving. And somewhere in the back of your mind, one quiet thought: what if the system is wrong? Petrov had 2 reasons for doubt. First, 1 missile, then suddenly 5, did not match the pattern of a real American attack. Real attacks come all at once, not in sequence, not one by one. Second, he knew the system was new, rushed into service before full testing was complete. He knew the engineers had flagged issues with how the satellites read certain types of reflected sunlight. He knew there were unresolved problems. He could not prove it. He could not prove it was a false alarm. But he could not bring himself to say it was real. So he waited 23 minutes, and then nothing. No impact, no explosion, no confirmation from ground-based radar of any incoming objects. Silence. Stanislav Petrov had been right. The entire alert had been caused by a freak alignment of sunlight and cloud cover the satellite system misreading reflected light off high-altitude clouds as the heat signature of a missile launch. A flaw in the software that the engineers had warned about and never fixed. The most sophisticated nuclear early warning system in Soviet history had nearly started World War III because of sunlight bouncing off clouds. The world did not end on September 26, 1983. Because one man doubted a machine. Now here's the part they really did not want you to know. Stanislav Petrov saved civilization. This is not poetic language. This is operational reality.